What's up with the YouTube? It's your boy Everyday Dre just tapping in with y'all. And today, the topic is just start or just create. So let me let y'all in on the secret. This ain't my first YouTube channel. My first YouTube channel was Nappy Kicks. Yeah, your boy was a sneaker customizer, man. So back when I was living in Miami, I came up with the smart idea of selling sneakers. So, I used to be on the little apps trying to catch the drops, selling sneakers, through the little apps or whatever. So one day, I ended up catching a little sale on South Beach. I went out there, met the dude, and as I was selling him the shoes, I think they was like some anniversary 3s. They was all white. So as we was doing the transaction, he was basically asking me like, do I know anywhere to get stencils? I'm like, stencils? What's that? So when he started going into what stencils is, they basically like a cutout, and you just either paint inside or paint around it to basically get, how can I say, to basically recreate the picture on the shoe or something like that, right? So I started doing my research trying to figure out, stencils, custom shoes, what you would need to, basically start it up. But the thing is, I ended up moving to North Carolina before I could even buy anything. So as soon as I got to North Carolina and I got like my first couple of hundred, I basically started investing. I bought the sneakers, bought the stencils, bought the tools and all of that stuff, right? So I think I started on my wife, girlfriend at the time, I started on her Converse. You know what I'm saying? I made like a pair of glitter Converse. It wasn't all that, but it was like real good practice for the first time. But whatever, progress. So now COVID happens and everybody is living off of the stimulus checks or whatever the case may be. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man, I really come from like a for real hustling background. Like my thought process is, if somebody give me $2, what can I buy for $2 that I could sell and make $4? You know what I'm saying? That's really just always been my thought process. Even if I get it for free, like how can I flip this and keep flipping it and making more money? So boom, there you have it. But back to what I was saying. So, I started investing, buying a couple of things, that I would need. The paints, the acetone, the cotton balls, the basics. So like I say, got the stimulus check, bought the stuff, and I started just doing custom after custom. Just basic stuff that I like, that I would wear, that I would be able to advertise myself before I got a customer. And I was posting it on like Instagram, Facebook. I was sending it to people in text messages or Facebook messaging and all of this so they could like spread the word, because this was before Reels was out. And I think TikTok was around, but TikTok wasn't like a big thing at the time. But anyway, I messed around and I posted on Instagram, and somebody messaged me. They DM'd me and I got my very first order. And let me tell you, I was sweating bullets when I finally got the shoe in front of me. Like, I'm talking about sweating profusely on my forehead, on my arms. I was nervous. I had never really done a pair for somebody else, and this was the first time they was ever actually paying me. And let me tell you, when you're doing like customs, you got to think the shoes is already $115. That's plus tax with shipping, $115, right? But then you're not gonna go and do a pair of shoes for $20 if it's gonna take you 10 hours to do it. I mean, at that point, you're not really seeing a profit for real. I mean, you are, but you ain't really making no money. So, you charge somebody $200 tops because they paying you basically, about $200. But you really only gonna see about like 80, maybe 90 which at the time is decent. But like I said, it's 10 hours of work. And that's when you kind of starting off too. That ain't like when you get comfortable with it and you're professional. But anyway, the dude told me the design that he wanted. And like I say, I had never actually like did this before. And on top, the design that he asked for, you had to use an airbrush. I had never actually like airbrushed a shoe before. But because I wanted the business, I accepted the offer. And I did the deal. And whatever. As I started spraying the shoe, I could visibly see the mistakes that I was making on the shoe, and I was trying my best to clean it up. All in all, I finished the project. Now, did I do a good job? If I was to show y'all the picture, I don't think I did a good job. But the customer thought I did a good job, which at the time, with my thought process, that was all that mattered. So now that we done got that part out the way, fast forward now, I done had about 5 or 6 customers. I'm doing this a little bit more regular. When I say regular, I was getting a customer maybe every 2 months or so, like that, right? But the thing is, like I say, this is around COVID time, so I'm not really working. We just like getting stimulus checks, so it made sense at the time. But when we did start working, or when we did start back working out, not working out, I'm sorry. When we did start back going to work, it almost became impossible for me to do custom sneakers because it was almost inconsistent. So I was like what you would call, not a manager, but I was like a step under a manager at this restaurant. So I was working at least like anywhere between 8 to 10 hours, sometimes 12 hours. So to come home and have an order that I'm only about to get like $80 for and work 10 hours just to get that, it wasn't really making sense for real. So I had to figure out like another way to do it. So the way I had started doing it was I started branding my Instagram as Nappy Kicks. Got a logo, got a email, and all of that. And I ended up creating an Etsy. So when I created an Etsy, I basically started selling the stencils, the same stencils that my first shoe flip customer asked me about. I was paying like $5 for the vinyl, and aside from me paying like $5 for the vinyl, I was basically able to get like all of these different stencils out of them. And I think I would like let's just say I was selling 2 sheets of stencils for like $5. But out of the whole roll, I maybe was able to get like 30 or 40 stencils out of it. So I was really making money for real. But the thing was, I didn't understand like copyright infringement and all of that. So I ended up getting banned off of Etsy right when I started making money. When I say I was making money, I was saying anywhere between like $200 to $400 a week off of this. So then I was stuck to rely on doing the customs again. And I ended up making a website called nappykicks.shop, and I would just post all of my customs on there. And I had good days and I had bad days, mostly bad days. Like, here's the end all be all of what happened with Nappy Kicks, right? It was too many people going on my website. When they would go on my website, I don't know how, they were basically like using some digital card and scamming. So they would purchase like $600 worth of shoes, and I would do them, but then I get hit, saying somebody did fraud. And I figured out a way to fix it, but by the time I ended up fixing it, I took one last order. And when I took that order, the person basically said that they never received the shoes. Mind you, they said that as I was working on the shoes, so I emailed them, and when I emailed them, I sent a picture of the shoes saying, hey, they'll be sent tomorrow, by the morning time. And I did just that. But by the time I sent the shoes off, I noticed that the money had already been taken out of my account, saying that, the shoes were in bad condition when they received them. So I'm like, wait, how are the shoes in bad condition when they received them if I just sent them this morning? You wouldn't even know that they were in bad condition unless you got them, right? But whatever. Went through a whole dispute with the bank. Long story short, I ended up having to pay them, and they kept the shoes. Yeah. But that taught me a valuable lesson. Only do business when you know that it's profitable. Don't just jump into something because you think that you may be good at it. Because honestly, I was never like a super artsy kid. I just dibbled and dabbled in drawing, never actually painting. So painting the shoes was really the majority of experience that I ever had. It was never that, I was some magnet art program student, or I was this, illustrious pencil drawing kid. Nah, it wasn't none of that. I just knew how to draw a couple of cartoons. That's about it. But what I will say is, if you take anything else or anything from this story, what you should take is, don't be scared to start. Because that thing that you're scared to start, that thing can make you money. Even if it's a little bit of money or if it's a lot of money. Just take your time, do your research, and just start, because you never know where it ends up. You know, even with my custom shoe business, like I said, I didn't make tons of money, but I learned a lot about myself. And one of the things that I learned about myself is that I can persevere, that I can learn. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had no prior experience painting, and I learned how to paint. I started a business, had an LLC, had a bank account for it, made money doing it. And I had fun, and I made friends along the way. But what I'm saying is, that same thing that I only took halfway, somebody could take that same thing and take it a whole way. Somebody might be able to take more losses until they win, way more losses than I could have took. You know, had I would have been able to absorb the costs and the losses, I would have kept going. Who knows where I could have been. But that's the same story for anybody. You know, don't be afraid to put yourself out there and do something different, something that you never did before, because you never know where it can go. And for me, man, it's all about purpose. You know, the purpose is growth. The purpose is learning, figuring out who you are and what you're capable of. And if you never try, you'll never learn who you are. You'll never learn what it is that you can do. But yeah, I just wanted to share that quick story with y'all, man. Don't be scared to start. Don't be scared to create. Just start. Just create. Till next time, is your boy, Everyday Dre, out.